Thank you for joining us for It's Time to Heal, sponsored by Luv.LifeCR. Let's look at the ways in which unexpected circumstances can shape our behavior and influence the way we function in the world even years later. I grew up in a military family, and prior to age 8, I had a sense of real stability, economic safety, and around age 8 for me, our family retired. My dad retired from the military. And for those of you who may know, and for those who are not aware, for many families, transitioning back into civilian life that transition can be very difficult. It can be hard to catch your footing. And so, after age 8, when I was age 8, we moved from one part of the state to another. And once that transition took place, my parents jumped right into the workforce. Both of them continued to work in the civilian world. However, as most of us know, disclaimer, as most of us know, those of us that pay bills and have economics, familiar with some of the economics, at times, even with people in the household working, sometimes the needs of the family as well as expenditures outstretch the income. Sometimes needs outweigh the income. And this gave me a real sense of instability. It gave me, at 8 years old, kind of the feeling symbolically like the ground was moving under my feet. And it instilled a sense of fear. Fear of possibly not having enough. Fear of what if resources are depleted? What if there's not enough? Fear of lack. We moved during my middle school years. At one point we had a family member, a cousin, that owned a home and an additional home, and said to us, "You can stay here until things settle down," which I'm very thankful for. And so by my 9th grade year, we kind of got stable, much more stable as a family, managing the economics. And by then, it had been from age 8 to 14 that this opportunity for fear to root itself in my thought processes and in my emotions. This is what occurred. As I got older, graduated college, and I noticed I started purchasing items in multiples. If I went to get a stick of deodorant, I literally would buy 5 instead of the one that I needed, instead of just one. Similarly, if I bought a pack of bar soap instead of 1 pack, I literally may purchase 3, 4 packs at a time. I later began to enjoy arts and crafts. Instead of purchasing 1 baby doll to do arts and crafts, I literally would go from store to store, depleting their stock, and maybe purchase 50 at a time. beginning to purchase online if the stores didn't have enough of whatever it was. Granted, most of the time these were dollar stores. However, as I got older, I looked back and realized the behavior that developed was a fear-based behavior. Always in the back of my mind, from way back at 8 years old, how an 8-year-old brain processed transition. How my brain at the time as a young child processed the idea of transition and actual transition greatly affected my behavior patterns. It got to the point that I had so many items, brand new, perfectly boxed, but I had so many items. Not only was my home garage full and overflowing, I had an additional storage unit in the community, and it was full and continuing to be stacked. I am thankful that the behavior did not put a strain on my finances. However, it is very real to think and to realize that I could have created a very dangerous behavior pattern. I could have, because of this fear-based behavior. It was very likely that the potential for creating deficits in my own family's finances could have become very real. Thankfully, it did not, but it could have become very real. It's always interesting to look back at the root cause of symptoms. For me, the spending and the accumulation of these items, even if only from dollar stores, the accumulation, the behavior of the purchases was the symptom of something deeper going on. The fear-based behavior. The fear was, what if ever, in a moment's notice, the carpet can be pulled from under your feet, something could change. As an adult, my thoughts were you could lose your job, something could change, and then you would be back to not having enough. It was the fear of not enough, not having enough. That played out into behaviors in adulthood that could have become very problematic. The symptom was the fear-based behavior. The root cause was the transition that took place in my childhood and how my childhood mind grappled with managing that transition, even in the years thereafter. When someone has a cold, we may look at them and recognize that they're maybe sneezing or coughing or have a fever. And all of those variables are symptoms. Those are symptoms. The root cause may be a viral infection, may be an infection of any kind. It's important as we look to heal that we not only examine and address the symptoms. A lot of times we work backwards. We're trying to work from the outside in, and we mean well, but we're not realizing we're jumping on the symptoms. Oh, you're shopping again. You're bringing more boxes in. Work on that. Slow down with the boxes. Slow down with the shopping. But we're not stopping to say, okay, but why am I shopping? What has caused me to feel shaken on the inside? What has caused me to feel instability internally? what has caused me to feel emotional pain or suffering or nervousness internally. That is the root cause. What is this? Trace the behavior back. Sometimes it takes a minute of sitting. Sometimes it takes a long time of sitting. Sometimes it takes days and weeks and saying, hey, I'm going to sit for 5 minutes and I'm going to turn off the TV. I'm just going to take some time to reflect. Internal reflection is really, really important when identifying causes of behavior. It doesn't mean all behavior is connected to some form of trauma or unexpected circumstance, but some are. As you take time to reflect on what might be the root cause, doesn't mean you have to tell anyone or share it with anyone, but as you take time to reflect on the root cause of some of your own patterns of behavior, be gracious with yourself. Sometimes we're very hard on ourselves and we have high expectations and we think to ourselves, oh, you should have known better. Take an approach of being gentle with yourself in the healing process. Internal reflection, if it does reveal something to you as a root cause of your behavior, it can be deeply moving. That being the case, it is very important in those moments to be understanding and gentle and kind to yourself, and giving yourself a chance to begin acknowledging that occurrence and acknowledging the feeling associated with that occurrence, and then being gentle with yourself and kind enough with yourself to begin a gentle healing process. Don't judge, don't criticize, simply take time to do introspection, and then take time to allow yourself to acknowledge, recognize, and begin whatever journey it is that you need to begin for the healing, to move in towards the healing process. As I begin to understand more about the fears that sparked my behaviors, this particular behavior, I was able then to say, okay, now that I know the root cause, let's look at the worst case scenario. What if the feeling from childhood, what if economic instability happened to me now as an adult? This is the what if. Typically when we have fears, if we identify a fear that is present, I typically take the approach of, okay, what if? Let's look at worst case scenario. Okay, what if this big fearful thing happened? What if it happened? What I realized is, of all of the behaviors of buying items to emotionally cushion myself because of fear, internal fear, I begin to realize, even if the worst case scenario took place and there was economic instability, none of the items that I had spent so much time purchasing to cushion my emotional fear, none of those items could put me back in a house. None of those items could fix the problem if the worst case scenario happened. None of those items could fix it. And then it began to make sense to me. This is just a busy behavior. It's a behavior that is fear-based and is serving as a cushion for emotions, but it is not a behavior that is helpful, because if the worst case scenario happened, this behavior, the results of this behavior could not fix my worst fear if my worst fear happened. Sometimes we have to reason with ourselves after we are beginning to see more clearly. Seeing clearly is step one, But after that, being able to reason is an additional part of the healing process as we begin to advance forward. So, be kind to yourself as you begin the process of identifying the behaviors and the root cause, and beginning to try to reason with yourself and within yourself based on the knowledge that you're gaining as a result of beginning this process. Now we're going to take a brief break for you to sit quietly and do a little bit of introspection. The music will continue to play, but take a moment of just quiet time for about 60 seconds and give yourself a moment to think about behaviors as well as what may have caused or contributed to those behaviors. And remember, be kind and gentle with yourself. Do not judge yourself. And I will return in about 60 seconds to finish up for the day. And we are back. I hope your moments of reflection were insightful and meaningful. What are the takeaways? The takeaways are: always be mindful of how past unexpected occurrences, for some people, history of trauma, not just in childhood, but even in adulthood years, can have an effect on how we interact with the world around us. Sometimes those symptomatic behaviors can even contribute to replicating a problem, the exact problem that caused us harm in the first place. Patterns of behavior do serve a purpose. However, if that purpose is not healthy, if that purpose is not moving us forward in a positive direction, if that purpose is not serving us well, then we probably should look at those patterns of behavior and come to a conclusion and a decision about how we want to manage that going forward. We have a right to be our best selves. We have a right to live in a purposeful and meaningful to live a purposeful and meaningful life and existence. And if we take the time to look internally and give ourselves grace and give ourselves permission to even start healing, we begin to move in a direction of health and emotional stability. I want to identify briefly signs of progression and healing. For me, in this particular case, I noticed that as I took time to find the root cause and reason with myself, one day I walked into the garage and I said to myself, why do I have all of these things? My perspective and my view started to change after starting to do some internal work, after acknowledging my pain, my fear. Reason became more prominent, and I began to say to myself, why do I need all of these things? They're brand new, they're perfectly boxed. Why do I need this stuff? It's just stuff. And I knew I was at a point of healing. Number one, when I was able to do the work. Number two, when my perspective began to change and I no longer felt a need or compulsion to emotionally cushion my fear with an overflow of items. And number three, when I was able, very happily so, to give those items away in the community, when I no longer had to grasp or clutch emotionally or physically at these items that previously, at least I thought, helped to cushion my fear of potential lack. And so now I am able to go into a store and purchase only what I need and know and have a comfort, internal comfort, that I'm not living in lack. I'm not in fear of the worst possible case scenario. And so, as you're healing and doing your own work, as healing begins, you'll start to notice possibly a change in your perspective, a change in your emotional attachment to whatever the behavior has been. And then you'll see the opportunity and the possibility and maybe the actual development of new behavior surrounding that particular fear. Whatever that behavior has been, whether it's history of addiction, whether it's many addictions, shopping, overeating, comforting with food, alcohol, narcotics, whatever the addiction may be, healing ushers in and facilitates a new symptom, which is changed behavior. Just as important, I also have a great deal of gratitude for my parents. They worked very hard after retirement, and I think it's very important to note that whatever we have experienced in our lives as individuals, there are other people that have experienced transition as well. And just like it wasn't easy for us, sometimes it may not be easy for them either. I think it's very important to always look outside of just our own circumstance and try to understand what other people may have gone through as well. And so I thank my parents. I have so much gratitude for every effort, every sacrifice that they have made to provide us with a wonderful life full of love and compassion. And so let's remember that as well as we are on this healing journey, not just our own perspective, but perspectives of others who also were involved in the transition process. Always remember, as you are going through your healing journey, if for any reason you find yourself in a state of crisis, immediately call 911 and then follow up with your primary care physician. Thank you for joining us for It's Time to Heal, sponsored by Luv.LifeCR.